Welcome back to our channel, my dear family and friends. Here we are again. It is Friday. We've made it through the week. I'm broadcasting a little late for Friday evening. I'm not as religious as by any means as I used to be, but I do yeah, I do apologize for those who are Shabbos observant that I'm moving into later hours on a Friday. We just this show has been going kind of late lately, and I'm hoping that once we get a little more established up here, we will come back to a like more reasonable schedule where people can, it's we're ahead. We're 2 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time, so 2 hours ahead or 2 hours behind. 2 hours behind. So it's 7 o'clock here. It's 9 o'clock in New York. A little bit of a difference. We were working on our windows today. We put in yet another window. It took me and Daniela all day to put in. This is an operable window, so it was a little bit different, but not that different. Just these things take time. We were happily home the whole day, and I didn't. I was happy that I didn't have to make food anew because we we made a roast yesterday, and the roast lasts for like 3 days. So that was kind of like made my day a little bit easier. But we've really been doing a lot of work, and the weather was absolutely exceptional today. It was like in the mid 70s, sunny and really beautiful. Are the White Hats in control? This is a question that I plan to uh, possibly examine a little bit tonight because President Trump appeared with the hockey team that won uh, the Olympics against the Russians and Finland a couple of years ago, and he gave them like a special honor, a special tribute, and they were all wearing white hats. Let me see if I let me just bring that up for see if we can find this easily. Right, white hats. Well, I think the picture I have here is just President Trump in a white hat. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so um, let's just
You gotta take a picture. Remember a certain governor in Massachusetts when they put that helmet on? That was not good. Michael Dukakis. Yep. They put that helmet on. That was the end of his political career. Okay, hey, that's
But the honor that you bestowed upon our team is something that's incredible.
thank you.
so I thought that was a good way to start with the white hats, with President Trump with the white hats behind him. Are the white hats in control? It seems that way. We were talking to Sandy. Hey, good evening. Hey, Pegs. We were talking to Sandra last night. Sandra Murecki. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And she was saying that the White Hats are waiting for a certain percentage of people to join the Republic. So I think that's important. And it was a little bit like surprising to hear from her that they weren't in control and that they'd been really battling against the forces of evil. They've been sabotaged, they've been infiltrated, that the war is not over. Big hat. Yeah. Hey, Heloise. So it's are the White Hats in control? Well, I'm delighted to be back on YouTube, but I noticed that all my other YouTube channels, the other 13, are still in quarantine. So I don't know if this was just I don't know if it was just a fluke this had. I think what happened was that this channel was kind of like a floating like a they have these ships that float around at sea and nobody's on them. So I had some friends from Nepal, and I think they were kind of like helping with build this channel because the thumbnails are not my own. The thumbnails are like the little pictures in the front, and I think that somehow this channel escaped, and I'm delighted to be on YouTube. But I would encourage anybody who's hearing me on YouTube. I don't know. I just don't know, and I don't. I feel so bad when I see people saying, "Oh, you finally came back." It's nice to see you on again. Just like I have not stopped broadcasting in 5 years, at least 5 years, every day, pretty much every day, or 6 days a week at least. So I've been on Rumble. My Rumble channel is actually increasing a little bit, which makes me happy because they actually pay me. That's the only way I get paid is through the Rumble channel. But the idea that the white hats are in control, there's kind of I'm kind of seeing and again, this is an evolving. Our station really we focus on looking at how the pieces of the puzzle fit together at any particular time. It is not a news show in the traditional sense where we're going to focus on what's really happening with Tina Peters or the Bulgarian Revolution or any of these things. We don't focus on individual topics the way a lot of other broadcasters do. We're kind of like a metacognitive self-examining. Metacognition, where we think about thinking. We examine the thoughts and the thought streams that are flowing around us. So I picked out like a, I think the things that seemed of interest to me. Not We don't look at individual stories so much. You can get that all. There are lots of podcasters who do that for better or worse. They Some are very negative, some are very positive. But if you're looking at that level of information, it's not so important. I think the plan is for Serbia to be first, like, role model for the whole world. Greetings from Serbia. Nice. Nice. Are you near Slovakia? Is it Slovakia, I think? Because my son just married a woman who's from Slovakia. I've always dreaded Sunday nights as well. Does my gifted sixth grade grandson. Yeah, so I'm not the only one. I mean, Sunday night was such a when you now that we look back and we realize how school was like a brainwashing session, and it was not really geared towards education in any respect. Perhaps I got an early dose of this kind of because I was in a very liberal suburban town of New York City. That they focused on this kind of new way of thinking, of this kind of politically correct way of thinking. That was like the roots of political correctness. No, near Romania. Okay, so I don't really know my European countries very well, but I'm delighted to have an international audience. It's really great. So I'm not the only one who dreaded Sunday. All those white hats in the Oval Office. I know, it was so amazing. Hello, fellow guru, immortal being. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't really consider myself a real guru in that sense, but uh, you know, whatever. I've sat at the feet of many a guru, and I've benefited from quite a few wise and well-lived people. So yeah, so it's great to see everyone. Hey, Andrew Smith, Park Grant. Hey, Grant, good to see you. Thanks for your enthusiasm. Grant is interested in the LifeWave product, and he's signed up, and he wants to do broadcasts. And I am so excited to finally have somebody who really wants to pursue this particular uh, business because direct marketing, there's nothing wrong with it. It's kind of like being a conspiracy theorist. It's like the bad guys have painted us as nutcases, but the truth of the matter is that we've been more right than we've been right on the money all this time, and they've been completely lost in space, and they're being revealed more and more near Romania. So I'll have to check on my uh, monk monk at Tevis, monk at Tevis. Yeah, I'll have to check my map. But my son married the daughter of a rabbi from Slovakia a couple of months ago, and it was it's just an amazing thing. Self-employed my whole life, so second nature. Right. But you're so enthusiastic. It's just such a delight. Yeah. Well, I've also been, yeah, that's really, yeah, you were self-employed. That's it. I guess that gives it to you. Danielle is introducing me to a new type of tea. I'm going to drink tea today, but I did before this. I was drinking Brian Best spiritual bean coffee. I was drinking. What was I drinking before?
You mean today?
What was it called?
You mean today?
Yeah,
Skywalker.
which is one of his great blends. It's a light brew and it's really tasty. But hey, Anton, Guru Gumbo, yeah, man. Ripple getting the okay for their bank charter. Yeah, that's a very big story. And we keep hearing all these stories. We keep hearing it's go time now. I'm hearing it's go time on the 17th, I think, of December for Ripple and XRP. But I don't hold by any of these dates. I don't hold my breath. In fact, today the teachers were supposed to hear from the Supreme Court as to whether or not they were going to allow us to be heard by the judges of SCOTUS, but I haven't heard a thing. So even dates in that respect are just it's more the flow of events than the actual dates. The tea does taste good. Any coffee that is very low acidic? I don't know, but I think the Kenyan coffee. But you should ask Brian. Email Brian. Brian's often comes to the channel, so you could, if he's here, he might even be here now. But you could just ask him directly on the chat which coffee is the least acidic. But yeah, I'm really excited, Grant, to have somebody to work with because I'm really trying to build up this community of like-minded people who are willing to try this amazing technology. I mean, we find it amazing. I'm a 3 patch a day man now, actually 4 patches, because I'm taking the silent nights at night. And I sleep better. I can't say that I sleep through the night. I would never lie. I mean, I would probably lie. I'm not, I'm not a saint, but I might lie like a white lie. And Danielle's very literal, so she catches me. She says, "No, you didn't." I'm like, I kind of meant that, but we do take silent nights, and I definitely sleep a lot better than usual. Do you still eat dark chocolate all the time? Yeah, I'm definitely a dark chocolate Heloise. And do you want to show off the brand we eat? We eat this
No, which one?
the
All of them?
yeah, all of them. Yeah, yeah. You can see what she says. All of them. I mean, we're going to show the world our whole stash. But Daniela is she spends a lot of time researching things, and we will eat a certain thing, and then she'll find out. Like with the salt, we were doing what was it? Kosher salt,
Diamond kosher.
Diamond Kosher, and then uh, Norman Nachum said that what are we eating now?
Redmond season.
Redmond. He says Redmond is a better salt. So we're constantly by Mark Z broadcast. Yeah, I heard nice things about Mark Z. I didn't mean to badmouth him, but I just feel like for the people, you know what I talked about a kind of a dichotomy. There's a dichotomy between those who are waiting for like kind of a quick fix and waiting to be saved by the white hats, Redmond and Real Salt, and those of us. I just have the feeling, like I was talking to my friend John Dowling, or we have we contact each other a lot, and I said, John, have you tried the Lifeway product? He said, "No, I'm waiting for the med beds." And listen, I mean, God bless John. I mean, he's on a slightly different track, but he's waiting for the reevaluation to come, and he believes all this is imminent. It's about to happen. After doing this for 5 years, I just take a kind of, and I see Trump's kind of the way he is publicly. I just don't see us rushing to the close of the movie. I mean, I wish I could report that that's what I felt, and in the past I have been very much of that mindset, but I don't. Yeah.
Someone said to put pinch of baking soda in your coffee and it will change the pH so it's not acidic.
Oh, that's a good Grant.
Wanna try
We
that?
got the suggestion if you put a pinch of baking soda or powder,
Baking soda.
baking soda in your coffee, it'll be less acidic. Hasidic. I always think Hasidic, but these are the things we have. One has like coffee in it. One has cayenne pepper, which we become big fans of cayenne pepper, and so but these are the wild one. These have no added sugar, and Danielle gives it her stamp of approval. So
The
they're
only sugar is from fruit.
the only sugars from fruit. So those are this the Wild West brand. You can get it at we get it at Sprouts. They're pretty expensive. They're quite expensive, but they're delicious. Here, babe. Thanks, sweetie. So yeah, um, O'Brien's here. Yeah, I don't know if Brian's here, but most coffees killer on my stomach. But that came from who suggested that?
I don't know. You have to look on Rumble.
It was right. David Mowens one suggested just a pinch of baking soda in your coffee will change the pH so it's not acidic. That's a very. I mean, I was a chemistry teacher, so that's a very good way to neutralize your coffee. Honey, yeah, I like it. We've actually ran out of honey up here. I mean, when we go to town, there's only so many things we can do. I didn't manage to snatch a bottle of organic maple syrup on our way out of town, but so that's what I'm using now. But I often just Brian's coffee is really best tasted black because it's such delicious coffee. You don't really want to like make it into a milkshake. I mean, that's if you put a lot of coffee and cream and all that, which I do, but it's really, if you're a purist, black coffee is probably the best. Okay. No, honey, yeah. Deep breathing before sleep is amazing to help. Hands on heart while doing this. I'll have to try that because I get up, I get up a couple times to go to the bathroom. When I come back to go to sleep, sometimes I just get it's kind of like a panic attack. It's kind of like I get this like high energy pulsing. And I do deep breathing, but I haven't put my hand on my heart. The deep breathing is sometimes effective and sometimes not. Tried soda, but couldn't take the taste. So baking powder, baking soda. Oh, I see. You don't like the taste. Interesting. There must be other ways to neutralize it. I don't know what other healthy bases are would combine with coffee in that way. I do put cocoa pretty religiously in my coffee. I don't know if that would have a neutralizing effect or not.
Well, the only low acid one that Brian said is the decaf one that I know of.
So Brian produces a decaf coffee that is low acid. That's what Daniela drinks.
But I asked them which ones are the other ones.
Grant says Utah has the best wild honey. I didn't know that. I mean,
Brian said darker roasts are generally less acidic.
Brian said what?
His darker roasts.
His dark. Brian says the darker roasts are less acidic. I mean, Brian really is a scientist about coffee. Fresh hot ginger tea is good. Yeah, I like ginger also. Do you think we're going back to a dividend refund check back? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like it's hey, Grandma Linda, use alkaline water. That's interesting. Coconut is very good in coffee or teas. Coconut oil, yeah, oil. That's interesting. In terms of like dividends and paybacks and all this kind of like riches and being saved by the government, I thought we'd be much more along in that process by now. It's December. The government had a year to really, but I am feeling like things are getting better. I'm feeling like the grocery prices are going down. Gas prices seem to be going down in Arizona a bit. But I think this is a time to really develop as a resourceful person. That's my view. Like for example, I'm kind of sinking more deeply into the idea of investing more in copper. Of real Because if you think about it, it has tremendous use cases, and it's also just having it in your possession could be healing. I put like copper pipes in my gardens just to stimulate the soil and the plants, but we use hot pepper in our coffee. Okay, so I'm not the only one. I'm a retired English social studies teacher, and I've never followed any of their stupid rules about students using the restroom and eating snacks. Always in trouble, but didn't care. Yeah, that Nancy, that was me. I was always in trouble, but I didn't. I did care. I mean, but there was nothing I could do about it. It just made me nuts because I always felt like I was just about to lose my job, and they tried everything to get me out of there. Every trick in the book. It was worse under Bloomberg because he was like actively trying to get older teachers fired because we were making more money and replacing them with these newbies, the dream, I forget what they called it, but the dream teachers that were, they had no experience and they stayed for 2 years and then they were like, let's get the hell out of here. Alkaline water. Yeah, I agree. I think the lesson is to look within and ignore the noise. I think so. I think that's a really, I mean, that's a really great way to put it. Let's just examine this. I agree. I think the lesson is to look within and ignore the noise. And I really, that's us. And I think that's really part of leaving the matrix. That you're self-sufficient. Even they say that the greatest investments are made during times of trouble. I put all my investment into this house. We just put in another window today. We're building a house. I mean, even I'm amazed that it's kind of coming into shape. We started just putting a cedar post in the ground, not knowing, and I didn't want to use concrete. I said, let's just sink it in the ground a couple of feet and put some rocks around it, and then Sam gave me these pine planks, and it's just been one miracle after another. I think it's important that we just keep going forward. Uh, Grant, I'm really, I'm excited about working. I'm actually having to do that myself. I mean, this whole LifeWave thing, it's not like I sat down 3 years ago and said, I'm gonna find a direct marketing thing that really suits me and just take it from there. I didn't plan this. It just so happened that YouTube dumped me, the Department of Education dumped me, the lawsuit dumped me, my ex dumped me, and it's like all these things that were supposed to produce an income. So I've had to really just learn to get by. And Danielle and I are very good. We As soon as we get money, we spend it. I mean, we are, we do invest. We do invest in, especially in the dips. We do invest in XRP and XLM and all the other ISO 200 coins. We're excited about investing in IOTA now because it's on Uphold, so we could buy some IOTA. But I really want to build up my metals again. I want to have a bunch of metal up here. I feel pretty safe, and it's just, it's so the copper. I spent $100 on copper, and I got a bunch of copper. It's just as heavy as all the silver that I owned, and I think copper is a no brainer. It has healing properties. People drink out of copper cups, and the pipes are certainly, they say, they purify the water and add a kind of an electric charge to your body. You are amazing to that. Listen, it's surprising me too, Lisa Caraway. I mean, but listen, we just bought this land. We did not know, and I tried every kind of prefab house, and I was just like, no, I don't like that one. I don't like this one. I actually, at Brian's encouragement, I did put a down payment on a Q hut. But since I started building this house, I just like, you know what? I don't want any kind of prefab house on this property. I really want to build stuff that really fits in with the natural law. We're building a house that's going to be all windows, except potentially on the southern end, because that's where the sun comes in the summer. I feel a lot is coming, not sure when, but we're all feeling it. Yeah. I don't think there will be an EBS either. Right. I think it's a slow rollout. And that's the way real change occurs. Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you, uh, Melion Force 12. I appreciate that. Listen, I was a carpenter for 20 years, so it's not, it was a skill that and I really do enjoy it. It's not easy, but I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy really finding these incredible ways around expenses, and I think that could be done on all levels. And what I was saying about the network, the direct marketing, I like the idea of direct marketing because it's kind of person to person, at least if you're not a podcaster. But I just started becoming successful, and I just really, I love the product. I mean, we've been using Lifeway for years, and it's really helping Daniela. She has a lot, so she has some eczema issues and other issues. Her speech, she had problems with speech, and now she, I can't get her to be quiet. Right, Danielle? You're awesome. But it's just a great product. But I didn't plan this or think like, I did a few network marketing things, and they just didn't work out. And this does work out because I also really love Dr. Stacy. I think she's brilliant, and she's just honest and quick. I like getting things done in plastic barrels. You can use hot pepper for heart attack too. Interesting. How do you store that much copper? Well, I don't have much copper. I have a couple of rolls. But if you had a lot of copper, I would, there's all kinds of different ways. Some people get safes. Some people don't like safes. I mean, I think, to me personally, the advantage of having a safe is that it's fireproof. Most safes are fireproof. So if you have a lot of metals, you don't want them, if God forbid your house was in a fire, you wouldn't want your silver and gold melting into oblivion. So a lot of people have safes. There's different ways. Depends on how much metal you have. It's also dangerous to have a lot of metals in your possession. So you have to think of all these things. My friend John Dowling, he likes to keep metals in a secure, it sounds like he pays somebody to store his metal, and I was doing that for a while. but then I felt like, I want to have it, but and then basically I spent it all. But I spent it on stuff that I think it wasn't like we spent it on useless things. We don't buy, frivolous things. We buy with intention. It's like we're now saving up for. We don't have a really decent lantern up here. We had one that was battery powered, but uh, Roman, Daniela's cousin, came up with a Coleman lantern that you can plug into a what do you call that kind of charging?
USB.
A USD charge, like kind of you can charge it up. So we just bought a lighter that charges up with a USD cord, and we have a mixer that does that. So we buy things that we feel will hold up here, and we do try to buy in duplicate if we can, because if something breaks down up here, you don't want to have to run into town, right away. Beetroot for your heart. Yeah, beetroot. Prefab houses are made with too many chemicals. Yeah, we didn't want all the chemicals. We really want to make this. I don't even, like I said, I did put some concrete under the toilet. Made a pad because I know toilets will rock if they're just on the dirt. But other than that, I don't want to hire first of all, I don't even know if a concrete guy would come up here. They might. It would cost a fortune to put a concrete. I just I don't want chemicals in everything. I'm with Grant on that. And Daniela is, so like we're as an interim insulation thing, I'm going to just be using clothes that wear out. I mean, I go through overalls, like, and gloves. I go through like a pair of gloves a week almost. Because I do a lot of work, and I need the gloves because I get a lot of splinters up here, and cactuses and everything. But um yeah, so we're going to use, because Daniela only she likes to buy organic cotton or linen or merino wool, basically, for our fabrics. So we will, like, I've gone through a couple of pairs of overalls. The newer made overalls don't hold up here very long, and I start ripping them up. So we're going to use that for insulation, until we figure out a better. We may eventually, probably, we also use dirt, and we'll probably be using different technologies as we approach them. But to live without chemicals is a very challenging thing. Daniela she will not come near. She hates plastic, and she won't let me drink out of plastic containers. So it's it's wonderful to have a partner like that. It's just, but she's constantly upping the game. And, like one year I'm allowed to wear cotton, then I have to have organic cotton. And these things can be expensive. So we don't have a lot of anything in particular. We'll buy, like, we each have, like, we share a sweater. We have, well, this is our sweater. We have one sweater that we share, and we share sweatshirts and stuff, and um, that kind of thing. But the socks have to be natural fiber. Dandelion root tea, very good. Dandelion root kills 90% of all cancer cells. Yeah, that's interesting. The white gas lanterns, old school, but easy to source fuel, and yeah, but we need something that's we live off grid, so we just need something to, when we get up in the middle of the night, we just need something to click on, and not. Ceramic's been around for centuries. Yeah, we just ordered a bigger um, cast iron Dutch oven to make bone broth. Because we spent a fortune on bone broth, and we just said it's like $10 for this little jar. So I said, let's try to make our own. So we went to the butcher and we bought a bunch of bones, and now we ordered a very big. How many liters is it?
10 quarts.
10 quarts. She bought a pot that's 10 quarts, and we'll just stick it on the fire. We basically cook most of our meals on the fire. We do have a little gas stove in here. We make tea and coffee, and I'll on a rainy day, which doesn't happen very often, I'll cook, I'll cook inside. Good to see you too. Jimmy John's. Yeah. But yeah, we're just we're you know we're just the house is coming along. We have more than half of the house, more than half of the windows in, and these were just scrounged windows. We bought sliding glass doors that were not sliding anymore. They were just isolated pieces of glass, and we started putting them into use. We bought a couple of also sliders of opening windows so we can get some air. Hempcrete. Yeah, we have a friend who knows how to use hempcrete. Swears by cayenne pepper to prevent and stop heart attacks. Yeah, yeah, we use a lot of cayenne pepper. Hempcrete is a great breathable insulation. Yeah, that's important. So it we may end up doing hempcrete, but for now I'm just going to stick in some old socks and stuff to in the just to keep. I mean the climate up here is fairly. It's not like living any place I've ever lived before where you have to deal with rain all the time and dampness. That we're in the Mojave Desert, supposed to be like one of the driest places on the planet. So you're not we're not running into oodles of moisture and I challenged the builders down here. They said you can't use lag bolts because lag bolts will rot. I'm like, well, how is anything going to rot in the desert? If anything, it will dry rot. It will just get so dry that it'll kind of fall apart. But the idea of anything rotting up here, I don't know. I haven't seen it. So we just stuck our cedar posts, and cedar is a special. Remember, the tabernacle was built out of cedar. Cedar is tough as nails, man. I mean, you put a screw into a cedar post, it's pretty hard to get it out. And we only use screws for building right now. But yeah, we're definitely checking out hempcrete. And I spoke to a Native American. He says, dirt with cooked oyster shells. He says the native people cook the oyster shells for like 6 hours and then mix it in with the soil with straw, some hay, and that's how they make their mud houses. So that's adobe, I guess. So we're trying different things. It's wool insulation is good too, right? Except I wonder if the animals would be inclined to. We do have little rodents sometimes. Happy Shabbos. Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm not really keeping Shabbos. So it's after Shkia. Yeah, it's after sundown. So um, I'm just not. We don't broadcast Shabbos day, but now night is the Shabbos. Shabbos ends so early that we do cedar chips in the garden. Helps ward off unwanted insects. That's interesting. I'll try that. We had a attack of black beetles. Big. I don't know if you'd call them beetles, but big black bugs that I thought, oh, it's so nice to have life in the garden. And then they ate all of our tomato leaves. So we sprinkled the garden with wood ash, and that seemed to get rid of them. Nails rust and loose over time. I don't think they're really going to rust up here. I mean, like in Arizona, they like when you live in Arizona, you see all these old cars. The cars don't rust. They go forever. I mean, that's why I bought a truck in New York from a Muslim man. It was a total scam. It was completely rusted out.
Oh, gotcha.
It was completely rusted. But people have ancient cars up here because they don't rust. And they don't use salt on the road because there's no snow. Uh, give you a shout out. Noble Gold has worked wonders. Yeah. Yeah, I like Noble Gold. They're very personable and very yeah. That's John Dowling sent a note. I didn't know that John was listening to my shows. I'm very flattered that he does. But he's just an amazing guy. And if you are interested in investing in currency, for example, or I guess gold and silver or anything like that, any commodities, John's a good person to go to. I did talk to Noble Gold for a while. I'm a noodlehead and I got to hold stuff off myself in some way if I don't hold it, myself. But I like what you're doing, that you keep it in a trusted vault somewhere. That's probably the safest, because what I was going to say is that, and I've told the story before. It's kind of a gruesome story that I don't really like to repeat too much, um, but let's see if I can do this. But I had a friend when I was young, when I was like 9 years old. In those days, a 9-year-old could go to. This is my memory anyway. I don't remember parents always being with us. I remember, like, we could take the train to New York. It wasn't a scary thing, and we would take the bus to White Plains. But I met this man. He was a European man, and he had a coin shop, and I would go there pretty often and bring my coins, and we would trade coins, and I would buy to add to my collection. I've been a coin collector all my life, with fits and stops. But somebody broke into his shop and killed him, because he probably had a lot of valuable things. So there is a danger to holding too much. I mean, if you have millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of coins, I mean, I'm certainly not at that level anymore. I have a couple rolls of copper. It's worth maybe $100, but I don't think, whatever. But you have to weigh these things out. A safe is good. A secure hiding place in the house is good, but nothing is absolutely 100%, foolproof. But what I would say is, I like to have some crypto. I would like to have some stocks that I believed in. I'm not in the stock market right now, but I have crypto. I have, I want to start accumulating metals, and I have land. So I love being on the land. Even though I was hoping today that I would win a big settlement, from that the Supreme Court would side with us, and I'd get a big settlement and I could pay off my mortgage. But it'll happen, I'm sure, soon enough. Oh, there's John's music. Okay, bone broth, good for, yeah. You cook it on the grill. That is for you. I cook on the grill. You also cook on the grill. Yeah, it's just easier for us, because it's easier for us to get firewood. Meat and veggies have the best seasoning on a cast iron skillet for sure. Yeah, we don't really use much seasoning. Daniela doesn't like much seasoning. I like spice, like a lot of spice, so I spice up my stuff. Cast iron ladies forever too. Yeah, it'll last forever. Yeah, pigs. So I have a frying pan that I bought when I got here, and now we will have two Dutch ovens, a big one for bone broth, and a small one for roasts. But making a roast, finding a trusted source of meat is also very important. And one of the wonderful things that we have here in Kingman that we didn't have in New York is we have this place called Mojave Meats, and none of their animals are injected, and we know them personally. We have a nice relationship with them, and they just turned us on. We've been getting these roasts. What are the roasts called?
Rib roast.
No, yeah, but what was the one we used to have?
I don't know.
We just bought rib roasts, and apparently rib roasts come from ribeye. They cut the steaks off the ribeye, and then they sell the rib roast. So that has bone in it too. So we're looking forward to trying out that kind of thing. Whatever happened to the Brunson case? I think it's probably still ongoing. That's what I'm saying. I don't think any of this is hurry up and let's get ready for the. I know John's on. This is a little. I mean, this isn't was not always my opinion. I was guns blazing. It's going to happen next Friday. The EBS. They're going to start giving us money right away. I don't see that anymore. We haven't seen that, and I like to go by direction, not dates. And I know John's with me on that one, but there's a growth that's going on. I mean, you don't see Trump saying, like, you know, next Tuesday, you know, he could do that kind of a thing. He's online, he's on live all the time. I'm not seeing that. I think this is a long term. I think that you and I are going to be in this for a while. I don't think it's going to be over so fast. I don't see. I mean, John is more, maybe has more faith than I do, but I don't see. I'm not waiting for the med beds. I'm not waiting. I'm not interested in waiting. I'm not interested in waiting to get some money. I mean, I was hoping the Supreme Court would take our case today. I don't know, maybe they did, but I haven't heard anything. But in the meantime, it just happened that I started this LifeWave. Let me just do my shameless promotion. But I just started with the LifeWave product, and I just have such a nice relationship with Dr. Stacy, and I've been using it for years, and it really seems to help us. It's kind of airy fairy. You have to give it some time. Some people feel it right away. Daniela feels certain patches immediately. And I can tell you that I was once in severe back pain. I tried to lift up my trailer uh, when I was in New York. In New York, you just like you're so frightened. Everything is like you're trying to do something before it's like they're gonna ticket me. I'm gonna go to jail. I'm gonna get my things towed. Everything is so nerve wracking that I tried to pick up the trailer with my back, and I really hurt myself. And I was in pain pretty much for like a month or two. And then one night I put some I put some Alavita, which is not a pain medicine for per se, right on the base of my spine, and the pain went away instantly. And I tried all these exercises, all these other therapies, but it's yes. So it's you just have to try it and see if it works for you. But I would say this could be the technology of the future. Yes, will the med beds come along? I'm sure they will, but I don't want to wait for anything. I don't want to wait for somebody else to save me financially. I don't want to wait for the RV. I don't want to wait for Bitcoin, for XRP to go to the moon. I've been waiting for XRP to go to the moon for at least 5 years, and it could go, it could go any time. I don't know why it keeps dipping down, other than, which gets back to my main topic of the night, which is that, are the white hats in control? I think they are, but I don't think the war is over. I don't see, it's a weird war because there are no battles, there's no reporting, there's no real direct information link that you can count on. So I use like information points, and I like a geometry, good geometry. You can build let's say a two-dimensional object, two-dimensional plane with 3 points. With 4 points, you can make a pyramid. You can make a triangular pyramid. You can make a three-dimensional object. With 5 points, you can make it. Saying, so the more points of light, the more points of information that seem to hold water that we put together. But there's a lot of cleanup, to happen before the wealth transfer can roll out. I think so, and I think Sandra Marecki was pretty clear that they're still struggling. And let me besides, so if you want to reach out to Dr. Stacey, or if you want to just sign up under me, or I mean, soon you'll be able to sign up under Grant and other people that will be pursuing this business. And that's the advantage of direct marketing, is that we work together. So if you work on my downline and you become successful, I become more successful. And that's the kind of business model that I really like. So I don't know. I don't believe in waiting. And it just seemed like, I mean, my Rumble channel is going up a little bit. I was making like $100 a month. Now I'm making like $500 a month, which is a big deal for us. I wasn't able to collect because my PayPal has been crashed, but I put it on Daniela's PayPal. I mean, we work together. We have several accounts. We have to be that way because we don't we don't hold by one thing. I mean, JP, whatever. I mean, you just don't know what's going to go down, but you have to protect yourself. And I, as an investor, I like the idea of diversification, because if this one doesn't work, that one might. And even the Trumps are saying that they had so much flack, they had so much destruction from the mainstream banksters. These are criminals. They wouldn't let them do this. They wouldn't that they found refuge in crypto investments. But now crypto is about to become very mainstream, in my opinion. They're saying the 401ks could be crypto, and it's happening, but it's not happening the way you and I have been ready for these events for a long time. It's not snap, crackle, and pop. And that's okay, because a lot of people have to wake up. A lot of people aren't here anymore. But it seems to me, Tina Peters' case, where there's information on Telegram, right? I don't really follow the sort of granular. I do see with patches. Yeah, Trump has said that everyone have a great Christmas. Christmas is just a few days away. I'm sure I'm sure the time will be good for us, but that's because we don't pay attention to that kind of thing. Is it misinformation? Is it, I don't know. Is the crypto market about to explode? Certainly, silver exploded, but it is to have a tremendous upside. Probably. Are we going to have a great Christmas? Listen, we've been hearing this for years. For years. It's going to happen next month. The 1st of May, the 1st of January, the 1st of February. I could give you for every month of the year for the last 5 years. There's a just get to the 20. It's been progressing like that for years. So when you tell me we're going to have a great Christmas, or when President Trump says that, I don't hold any water by that. They also said that November 22nd, when the ISO 222 coins were coming, that crypto was going to go to the moon. They've been, Ariel said last January that the dinar was going to be revaluated. I don't think we should be dependent on anyone. We have to be sovereign. We have to noodle our way through this storm, this difficult period for humanity. We are the leaders. So I don't buy any of this. I don't have a regular job, but I'm getting by. I do have a pension. I just think, I don't believe in waiting to be saved. I no longer believe that in the Jewish religion, everyone's like, you have to wait don't worry. When Mashiach comes, it'll be okay. I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm not waiting for Mashiach. If Mashiach hasn't come in 2,000 years, I should just okay. I should just be like, don't worry, man. Mashiach's coming. I'm like, I don't believe that bullshit, because it seems like that would be exactly the kind of thing that the reptilian, satanic parasites would unleash on humanity. Say, wait for Christ, wait for Mashiach, wait for the Mahdi, and if your guy comes, it's no good for me. That just sounds like bullshit to me. I mean, I hate to go into this because people get offended, but it's just like, I'm not waiting. I want to live my life. I am empowering myself. This is a different kind of thought stream. I lived with people for 25 years. They're all waiting for Mashiach. When COVID came, they were like, "Don't worry, Ellie, God's in control." I'm like, you told me that, and then you dropped dead. I'm like, God's in control, but I want to live in this body. I like this body. I like my situation. I love this, and it's taken me a long time to get to this stage where I actually enjoy life on the planet. But I am not waiting to be saved, not by RV, not by Trump's Christmas present or anything. And would I love to be saved? Yeah. If I get saved, will I embrace it? Sure. If the teachers finally get paid and I get $1 million, it'll be like, okay, man, I'll buy more copper, I'll buy a little silver, I'll invest more in XRP, I'll build a second house. I already have a beautiful spot picked for like a visitor house. It's just so beautiful down there. I mean, you're like nestled in the mountains. More, I'm like on top of the mountains. But these are I would invest in another well for sure. I would buy another piece of property for sure. But to wait, this has been my point for many years. To wait to be saved is no longer, to me, does not make sense. I and so Mashiach comes. Mashiach comes. How is that? I don't know. This is very it's a very dangerous point to make in the Jewish community. I mean, it's kind of blasphemous. Does it mean that I'm not waiting for Mashiach every day? No, I do wait for Mashiach every day, but I'm not waiting in the respect that, like, I can't function until, and that's how a lot of people in my community are. They're like, oh, I'm poor, I can't pay for my groceries, but Mashiach is coming, and we have they have ways of helping people in the community that make you dependent on the community. I was getting my food from a food bank because it just helped us so much to have free food. But I no longer believe that. I just believe, like, and Danielle and I we're unified on this. There are many weeks where we get paid. We get a check from Lifeway every week. And as soon as the check comes in, we run down to town, we buy the things that we really need. We already know what we really need. We're not buying frivolous stuff. But like I was saying about a trusted meat source. So we went to the meat store and I said, I wanted to try the rib roast because Daniela, for some reason, didn't want the rib roast. We had chuck roast. We've been eating a lot of chuck roast, but the roasts are a good buy. I don't buy, like, T-bone steaks or, fancy steaks and filet. I mean, I don't buy that. We can't. But we want to eat red meat. So they said to me, taking this on because it's allowed me to take time in solitude and nature. And yeah, I totally agree, Jason. I think that's beautiful. It's 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 yeah, no, it's been a great time. Me also. I was living in New York and I always wanted to live in nature. Now I do. And I'm building, this is a time of opportunity, not desperation. Not desperation. The surprise with a great Christmas, but don't hold your breath. We must roll. Yeah, I think so, Grant. I just, and Grant is like, I'm really impressed with Grant. Grant's just like, I say, you contact me if you want to start helping me share this incredible product that I think is. I mean, are there any healing products other than natural things from the medical community? I don't know. I don't know if there are. They certainly deal with your symptoms, but here's a product, like kind of a wild ass product that really, for me, is life changing. And Grant's just like, hey man, I got some issues and I want to try it out, and that, I think that's a beautiful attitude. We didn't wait till we thought it was right. First moringa. I heard in my back, and now it's fast and drink Unicity, change diet totally. It's worked for us. Yeah, if you haven't changed your diet completely since the virus came out, you're not really, in my opinion, you need to do that. We don't eat anything. Is it really organic? We don't know, and there's certain organic brands that Daniela won't buy. Like there's one in New York that says we only use USDA certified pesticides. They call themselves organic. I'm like, well, we're never going to buy from them again. So you have to be careful, and also, look at the labels. We are nuts about labels. If it says natural flavoring on it, you don't know what that is. It's like MSG, there are 50 different names, hydrolyzed soy protein, whatever. There are 50 different names for MSG. So, read your labels. If it has other stuff in it, can you get raw milk? You know, some states, I mean, we're kind of like we go over to Las Vegas, which is Nevada. I don't remember which one has, but we pretty regularly come across raw milk, and we buy it. We eat a lot of butter, organic butter, and we do eat a few. There are a few brands of cheese that Daniela will accept. Very few. There's really just one brand of cheese that she accepts is made with raw milk. But and yet we really have a great. We like our diet. But we change up all the time. Right now we're eating a fruit salad, which is like grapefruits, oranges, bananas, and apples and cranberries, organic cranberries, and sometimes blueberries about 12 o'clock. We don't eat in the morning right away. And then we'll have a bigger meal between 2 and 4 where we'll eat some red meat and a little bit of starch and that kind of stuff. And certain times of the month we'll eat a little popcorn with butter. Now we're eating with butter, but what I wanted to say, and once in a while we'll have treat ourselves to some really good sourdough bread if we can find it when we travel into big cities. You can't get it in Kingman, but you could get it in. We got some in Vegas. We got some in Colorado, I think. We found something really nice sourdough in Phoenix. But what I'm saying is that I feel very good about our eating habits. I feel very good about fasting, and I do most of my work before I eat, and it works for us. But yeah, the diet has to be examined. Now the chemtrails, we haven't had chemtrails for a couple days, so things are really nice here. But they're saying it's going to be cloudy in a few days. How do they know? Well, because probably if it's like anything that they've done so far, they're going to start the day before, and that night they'll start pouring chemicals into the air. So are the white hats completely in control? Maybe. I don't know. I'm changing. I'm changing my thing. I thought when they said the movie, this is a movie, you're watching a movie. I thought that was the White Hat movie. But it seems to me now that it's moves and counter moves. And nothing is over yet. But there's a steady, like I said, directions, not dates. There's a steady outpouring of energy into crypto, into real currencies, into metals, currencies that are backed by metals like the dinar and the dong and all these other things. John sells all those. If you need to buy, if you want to invest in currency, buy from John Dowling. He's got all kinds of great things. And that's another thing. I like with Brian. With Brian Best and John Dowling and anybody else who has, I've offered this before, but like now Grant is interested in helping with the business, and he's like, yeah, let's go online, let's do this. I that's what I want. I want people who want to do. It's all in the action. That's where, in my opinion, that's where the manifestation happens. But yeah, so like with Brian, like Brian would give you the shirt off his back. So, like, I don't have any problem. And Brian sends, he's just like, when you have somebody like that, it's like you don't worry about, you know, is it safe to do business with him? I mean, it's like, is it safe um, to give each other gifts? Yeah. I mean, that's really the spirit of love and the spirit of humanity. So, I mean, Brian has been sending me coffee, and I try to do nice things for Brian whenever I get a chance. It's just, when you meet somebody like that who's just so open, and we've been taught to fear each other about money, like it's something scary, like you're going to take advantage of me. But if you're dealing with somebody who has a pure heart, what's the worry? I'm not counting. I mean, I know a lot of people that, if they, like really wealthy people too, if they lend you $2.25, they want $2.25 back immediately. It's not, um, when Trump said, "I'm a wartime," right, and I can't tell you what I'm doing because then the enemy knows. Yeah, that's great, Jason. That's a great remark as well. Uh, it right, he's not gonna come out and tell us. It's like all these reporters are like, "What are you gonna do in Venezuela?" He's like, "I'm not gonna tell you. You hate me. You're the enemy. You are literally the enemy, and we're dealing with a government full of criminals, transnational criminal cartel." Ken in 68, I started taking it. So many good things in our health. Yeah, there's so many good things out there. There's so many good things. Aborted human kidney cells and natural flavoring. Exactly. I mean, people drink, say, well, I got to have a Pepsi. I'm just like, why would you do that? Um, People are the treasures of the world. That's the bottom line. I think so. Let's see what happens if I put two comments on at once. People are the treasures of the world. That is it. That is really the bottom line. And even if somebody rips you off, it's like you just don't do it again. Yeah, John Dowling. John Dowling is a podcaster that I do a show every month with him, and he's just been a very loyal friend. And nobody else has really asked me. Nino hasn't called me up, or anybody else to like see if I'll do a show with them. So, but I don't think my message is really appropriate for most of these podcasters. But John has a wonderful. He has a whole team of people who develop like the economic. They have their fingers on the pulse of the economic narrative that's coming forward. He's got a bunch of people. They have a team together, and they follow this narrative of the dinar and the revaluation and all these other things. I know Mark Z does it too, and I'm trying to soften on Mark Z, but I just feel like so many people get trapped into this I'm waiting to be saved kind of mentality. I don't think that's the correct approach here. I really think we need to be proactive. We need and that this is an opportunity. It's like Q says, focus, focus, ascend. And all this stuff that Trump says, some of it could be misinformation. Some of what Q says, he says it's misinformation. We just have to put the pieces together. But the bottom line at the end of the day is, did you have a great day? Did you do everything in your power to advance your situation? I mean, we don't waste time up here. We don't, like Danielle will say, I'm going to drink coffee now, and I give her that. She has time, and she needs, she needs a little time, and she drinks her coffee. But I'm like, once I get up in the morning, and once I put on my carpenter belt and my nail bag and my hammer, I'm pretty much, I'm guns blazing, man. And then we broadcast in the evening, and then we have a little, like, kind of our little alone time, and it's really special. It's just we watch a little show on our computer together, and we'll eat popcorn, but we try not to eat after 8 o'clock. That's another thing. Be trusting but discerning. I think so. Fight sideways, not up is the trap. Fight sideways. That's interesting. Good question, Ellie. I'm changing too. I'll drop the drop about the Insurance Act. What really happened? Sunchokes are great. Eagle Eye. Yeah, I don't, in general insurance, I think it's a scam. I just don't do it. That's just me. I'm not saying everyone else should do it, but like I said, if you really, like we got eyeglasses for Danielle this week. We've been trying to get eyeglasses for years. We've been together. She's been asking for eyeglasses, and I'm like, we really can't afford it. Unless you really, really need it. And finally, she saved some money from LifeWave. And by the way, if you sign up under her, she really, it's very exciting for Danielle to be able to make a living. besides, I mean, we're a team here up here. I don't think of like my money and your money, and we're just we do everything together. But that's why she can get on Uphold and I can't. They won't give me an account. So we invest on Uphold. I say, well, she said, can you give me some money? I want to invest more in IOTA. I'm like, of course. I can't get XDC on my platform, so we go to central casting, right? So the movie, right? So the movie is the movie. So is it a white hat movie? Is it a black hat movie? Certainly the black hats were very good at making a movie. So it could be that the movie is the black hat, the story of the black hat defeat, the story of the creep cartel defeat. Yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, bottom line, like I say, be yourself. You are the treasure. You are the treasure. Did I set out to make a living off LifeWave? No, not at all. Not at all. I had no idea. I was into ASEA, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work out for me. I like the product. I love the gel. It's amazing. And the product seemed to work for me. But we get a lot of salt in our diet, and it just it didn't click the way things click with Dr. Stacy. Dr. Stacy is just steady as a rock. I mean, she is unflappable. Like Grant couldn't find his website on because he signed up as a brand partner, and he couldn't find his website. So I asked Dr. Stacy. 2 minutes, 3 seconds later, she sent me his website address. But it's great. Now I'm getting to deal with Grant. But if you want to join us with this business, I want this is it's it, why is that? Is it because I'm an opportunist? No, it's because I believe in purpose. I Because I'm the kind of guy that if you want to have a conversation with me and we're on the land or not even on the whatever, I cannot sit still and just talk. It's just not my thing. But if you want to have a conversation with me and I've got a shovel in my hand and I'm putting some rocks away or whatever, that's good for me. So so now developing a relationship with Grant, developing relationships that are business oriented does not, it feels like, okay, we have a central purpose. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. I mean, Brian and I have a central purpose. We have a love for each other. We're both very creative in wanting in doing things. He's a landscape architect, he's a carpenter, he's an electrician, he's a plumber. He's very much, he likes to work with his hands, and we understand each other, and he has helped me in numerous ways to figure out what the hell I'm doing. I mean, when we first came up on the land, it was like we were camping out for months without relief, and Brian and Corinne invited us over to their house for Thanksgiving, and then they started taking us in almost every other week. We would go there, and we were able to take a hot shower. That was a big deal for us. So that's friendship, to be able to give to somebody and not feel that you being taken away. I heard AI on the good team, right? Measures the metrics of responses to the false flags, predicting perfect timing for Nasara. Yeah, well, that's what Sandra Marecki was saying yesterday, that the white hats are very involved with AI in judging where the population is and other things like you're saying. Do you trust the government, white hat or not? I'm not concerned with the government. I don't worry about it. I don't trust them or not trust them. I don't really involve myself with them. I mean, like I said, if I get a speeding ticket, I don't pay it. I don't have registration. Up to date registration. If they started hassling me a lot, would I, maybe then, but I don't have government inspectors up here. I don't really, I do vote. I do vote. I like the idea. Let me put this information out again of the New Republic that you probably should check out this website and register and volunteer for the Republic, not the New Republic, the Republic. Because when enough people are registered in the Republic, the White Hats are monitoring that flow. When we reach a certain stage, something like 50,000 people per state, the White Hats will realize it's time for Jassara. This is an interim body of volunteers who will govern during the introduction of Nasara, that they will be in charge for like 120 days. This is just me putting things together. I don't know for sure, but once Jassara is announced, we have 120 days for real elections, and that this body of people will be in charge of the world. It's probably a global movement, that there will be republics everywhere. There'll be republics for sure in the United States, and they will basically be in charge of governance until the new elections, 120 days, 3 months, and the Jassara elections take place. And then it's officially will become part of Jassara. But all this is just a lead up. Is it going to happen in 2026? I hope so. But if it doesn't, I'm still going to invest in copper. I'm still going to buy the dips in XRP and XLM and all the other ISO 222 coins. I'm still going to be building my house and hopefully finishing it and starting on another house and, buying more property if I can up here. I only, I want to buy property where I live. There are a couple adjacent properties to where I live that I would really love to buy, because then I would have a kind of continuous, a stretch of land that is all mine, to where I would have the privacy to build and farm and ranch, whatever I desire to do, or just hang out and broadcast. But it's a big stretch of land already that I have. So to add another 40 acres here, another 40 acres there would be wonderful. I'd like to have hundreds of acres to just for privacy, and for probably to teach people basic skills, how to build a house in the desert. If you're interested, you'll come up. I know I offered that Gila and Yuri could come up and visit, but I've also offered to my son to come and visit, and we're just not in a position yet to have guests. But I think this would make a great teaching facility, and people could hang and teach each other things, kind of like this channel, but to make it physical. It seems that, again, this is not like my idea. This is just something that, like LifeWave, just kind of keeps happening to me, that people say, maybe you should, like Larry, who showed me some really nice property in Prescott, but it was millions of dollars. It was like $1 million or $500,000 for a plot of land, and it was just too much for me. But he said he wanted to sell me a plot that had 4 places for houses, so we could have big meetings up here and all hang out together, and maybe have, like my friend over in Arcadia Farms, which is a kind of a commune bed and breakfast near me. They have a central cooking house. I think they have a bathhouse. They have housing for guests. It would be nice to have that sort of thing. But anyway, but that's online. But you should sign up, I think, for republicforusa.org. That when enough people get signed up, then the white hats will step in, and Jasara will begin. So I think that's worth. What's this? What did I get? What did I do? Anyway, so let me show you a couple of. Let's go back to the chats. I'm enjoying this. I hope this is okay for you guys. I know I'm kind of kind of quasi news channel, but I'm not seeing a lot of news that really wows me. I encourage everyone to join the Restored Republic. I think so. I did yesterday, and bought the two, brought the two books, bought the two books to read. Ellie posted the links several times. Right, that ISO patent is crazy. Yeah, the ISO. You're talking about the ISO 222. We are reaching critical mass. Yeah, that's the key here. What if I bring a tent and just sleep outside? I'm a landscaper and gardener. Yeah, that would be okay, but we're not quite there yet. We're not we're sort of we're at the kind of like privacy stage. I think as we grow and get more comfortable, we'll be able to expand. But we're not really ready for guests. We had her father came for a night, and her cousin came for a couple nights, but we really haven't. And we had a builder stay with us one night. That's about it, I think. But we kind of enjoy right now our sort of privacy. But yeah, we'll get to that, Jason. I'm sure we'll get to it. That's kind of like, I think that's down the line. But right now we're just developing a place to live. We live in an RV. We live in like 8 by 20 foot box. Um, you like this? Yeah, you like this kind of style? I usually feel like people want to hear news, but I mean the news just doesn't really get it for me anymore. I appreciate that you enjoy that this is okay, that I can kind of just chill. Rocco on the iPhone listening to broadcast while feeding all the animals. That's cool. You'll have to tell us what animals you have. Agree with you. Yeah. You like it too? Yeah. The isopat. Hey there. Hey, Linda. Yeah, there's so many beautiful people on this channel that we do need. Yeah, you understand. Yeah, it's we're just we're we're kind of like struggling, but we really enjoy. We enjoy the tachlis, which means the purpose. That's why, like, dealing with having relations with Grant and Brian and a bunch of other people, and doing little business things together. I think if that's a plus, not a minus. That for me, like I'm just not the kind of person who just wants to sit around and chat, even though I do it every day. But trapping wild boar on a property to sell, chickens, pigs, nice. Yeah. We have javelina up here, which are like flat pigs. They're like they're thin. They're like they look like 2-dimensional pigs. They look like they're just like cartoon, pretty weird. But thank God we don't see a lot of them, because we're very strict about garbage. Because I mean, we live in the desert, and any animal is going to take advantage of you if they can if they can. We made up our minds regarding a move to warmer state. We are doing it. That's great. We love it up here. I like 4,500 feet. A little bit higher, you'll get trees and it's a lot colder. But at 4,500 feet, we don't get many frosts. The days are during the winter. A lot of times it's cold, but a lot of times it's really warm. Like for building, this is the best time of year in December. Better, much better than the heat of the summer. Wolves in the desert. I haven't seen any wolves. We haven't seen any. All the scary animals that people tell us about.
I've seen a pack of.
You saw what?
I saw a pack of them.
You saw a pack of wolves.
Yeah.
Was that the dogs you saw?
Well,
You thought they were dogs?
I don't know either one.
Daniela says she's seen some wolves. I haven't seen any. Maybe I'm too noisy. Javelina can be mean. Yeah, that's what I've heard, and they're also they love garbage. So we don't we keep all our garbage inside, and we're very careful whenever we go to town to take our garbage and throw it away. We don't. We're very careful with that. But coyotes, yeah, there are probably some coyotes. We haven't really seen much life here. I think a lot of it's just the fact that the desert's in a kind of there's a drought. There's been a drought happening for a while. Now, when we get our well up and running, it could very well be that we will um, find ways to water some of the local animals, and that would attract them a bit. Communication from your mortgage company. My sister did that, and her house went into a sheriff's sale, and they came to her house and told her, yeah, okay, yeah, we're playing, we'll take care of it, we'll take care of it." But they need to contact us. That's all, and they've called us, and I've answered their phone. I just can't I can't get into the fear space over this stuff. I'm just not, and whatever. A water hole, yeah, lots of coyotes here too down in the lower land. But yeah, I appreciate that. And sorry that your sister lost her did that and her house went into a sheriff's sale. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go into the fear space. I just feel like every time I deal with the legal situation with the government, it's a disaster. So when I feel that eventually that some kind of money will come either through crypto or some way through this lawsuit, and when it happens, I'll pay them off. That's all. Phoenix, yeah, I have one in San Diego neighborhood. I like the open forum. The majority of news podcasts are much more hot air and repetitive. Spinning hopium. Yeah, that's good, Grant. Well, maybe we'll start. I mean, listen, I'm the king of transitions, so maybe this is a lot more comfortable for me too because I'm not seeing any information that seems worth repeating. And hopium, the hopium that I have is just that we all become empowered to succeed in our own ways. No wild animals here in New York City. Well, I don't know. I dealt with a lot of wild squirrels in Brooklyn. I don't know in Manhattan, but and I saw an opossum. There was an opossum in my shed in New York City and a raccoon. And of course you have rats and mice and so I don't know. New York City could be we lived in RV almost a year. Yeah, we've been here a year, almost a year and a half in our RV and it's okay, but soon we'll have the house in a much more once we get the windows all figured out and we start insulating a bit, then we'll pull out the RV and we'll work on the roof and we'll be housebound. We're planning to build a big deck on the cliff side. But anyway, I'm glad that you stuck by and you weren't offended by the fact that I'm not really trying to pump any news because it's pretty uninteresting to me. Most of the things that I note are more like about ideas. So thanks for letting me off the hook. I think maybe it's just that we all need a little community, like Central Park in Manhattan. Yeah, but aren't there all kinds of animals in Central Park? I'm sure raccoons for sure. Um, Yeah, you like the open forum. Yeah, it's kind of nice to just kind of hang and chat. Maybe we could lots of coyotes. Yeah, we'll just do this more, or we'll just do it more. If you guys are up to it, if you guys don't mind, I like it too. I like to know what you guys are up to. So all right, so I'm gonna call it a night. Danielle and I we're hoping to make probably it may be a little late, but we're hoping to make a batch of popcorn. We make it from scratch. It's all organic and natural flavoring is in some form of human aborted fetal tissue. Yeah, when I see natural flavoring, man, I'm just like, I don't think so. I don't think I want to buy this. Critters, yeah, critters, man. All right, so yeah, I was also going to play. Maybe I'll just play it quick. I'm just going to play a little LifeWave video, and then we'll call it a day. And then let's see, where did it go? Here, okay. Let's just play this.
An author, a mother of four, a wife, a fitness and mindset coach. I am very busy, and I'm telling you, I was a little skeptical at first when I started using, I call them the magical stickers, but I didn't think I could feel any better than I already do. I'm 43. I am super healthy, fit, all the things, but I feel better with the patches. My endurance is better. My strength is better. Stamina is better. Sleep is better. Intimacy with my husband is better. I'm wearing all the patches. The skin underneath my neck is tighter. What else? Oh, I had really bad arthritis in my thumbs. Really bad. And I thought I was going to have surgery. No more thumb pain. No more hot flashes at night. My mood is better. I am not getting stressed as easy. I believe in these. Oh, I went down 5 pounds and 1% 1% body fat. I've lost so I'm 11.1% body fat, 140 pounds. It's amazing. I work out like an athlete, and these stickers are doing amazing things for my body. So if you're just starting on this journey, keep going, be consistent with wearing them. They are life-changing.
Okay, yeah, that was I just wanna remind everyone that I really we really believe in the LifeWave patches, and we've had, great success with it. Let me just put on the, you probably have this written down already, but just, and it does support, and we support each other, and if you're interested in starting a business, I think it's amazing. It's a great direct marketing, company. They give you, I think, something like 60%. I don't exactly know what that means, but the payments are good, and you feel like you're doing something wonderful. You're getting people to enjoy good health. There's look at the poisons in the food, in the air, and somebody's telling me that the fluoride was a chemical agent used by the Nazis. That's why the American Dental Association used it. But here you're dealing with something that brings light, that uses your own light. So it's a tremendous technology. It's not heavy, it's not physical like a pill, or it doesn't put anything in your body. It just reflects your own light and lets the body heal itself, which is key. So if you haven't signed up, if you haven't tried it, I recommend that I invite you to try this. It's a really pleasurable thing, and I salute people like Grant that are really looking forward to a life changing situation. Okay, so let's go back to here. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. So, Grant, I said the same thing to a friend today. There's a man in the patch ad. That's a man in the patch ad. But is better. I believe in it empowers us. Remember, we are part of source, right? I think so. And health is wealth. Wealth is wealth. Land is wealth. Being comfortable, being in an environment that's good, being in relationships that are good, all these things are essential. Being fruitful and multiplying, if you can do that anymore, is definitely. I would love to have some more kids. So it's an ongoing thing, and eventually, yeah, I will be open to making this into more of a kind of a place to visit and learn from each other, kind of like this channel. But we're not quite there yet. We don't have a roof over our heads yet, so we need like a house and maybe another house for our guests. But yeah, you could camp here, but it's really cold at night. I mean, not really cold. It doesn't drop below freezing, but it feels cold. All right. So anyway, have a great night. We will see you tomorrow night, God willing. And just yeah, let's play the tune. Let's play. I really think we should do Language of the Heart. Let's do Language of the Heart because it's kind of a kumbaya kind of thing. Okay, so I'm gonna play. We'll do a tune. Oh no, this happened again. Oh gosh. Uh, I better not. I better not push it. I don't know what this. I press something. Let's see what I do if I do this. No, I can't do that. I can't do it that way. Hold it. Let's see if I don't know. Okay, I don't want to. I don't want to press. I don't know what I pressed, but somehow I'm. Wait. Let's see if I can go do this. Yeah, but that's not what I want either. All right. So it. Oh, okay. What am I back to this for? All right. Let's see if I can do it this way. Okay, but then I would have to go back here and I would have to use this. I hope it doesn't get echoed, but let's just see if we can do it. I surrender in the courtyard. I surrender on the street. I surrender my ambitions and the ways of deceit. Sweet surrender. Language of the heart. Sweet, sweet surrender. Language of the heart. I surrender to our new love on any path it takes. In the beauty of this moment, there are no mistakes. Sweet surrender. Language of the heart. Sweet, sweet surrender. Language of the heart. We all need to come together round the language of the heart. We all need to come together round the language of the heart. It's an easy decision, don't you know you're a musician? We all need to sing together round the language of the heart. Love is a river, fear is a stone that I skip across the water on my gentle journey home. Sweet journey home. Sweet journey home. Sweet, sweet journey home. Sweet journey home. We all need to come together. We all need to come together. We all need to share together round the language of the heart. It's an easy decision, don't you know you're a musician? We all need to be together. We all need to sing together. We all need to dance together round the language of the heart. We all need to feel together. We all need to dream together. We all need to know together the language of the heart. Okay. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay. I'm out of it. Okay, so let's go here. So I know it's going to echo. I don't know how I get into this, but anyway, have a great night. May the force be with you. May you realize that you are source and force. And let's get out there with a big smile on our face and rock the world.